We recently took a look at the 7 greatest footballers of all time, and sadly, no Brits made the cut. It was suggested to us though, that we do another 7, counting down the 7 greatest British footballers of all time, so that's what we're going to do. In the interest of clarity, British here means any player from the United Kingdom, so that is predominantly England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Here are our 7 greatest British footballers of all time. Jimmy Greaves. There have been many great British centre-forwards. The likes of Dixie Dean, Gary Lineker and Michael Owen, or the Scots could point to Kenny Dalglish and the Welsh to his strike partner Ian Rush. However, the pick of the bunch is Jimmy Greaves. An absolute goal machine, Greaves averaged a goal a game at his peak. He starred for Chelsea, AC Milan, Tottenham and West Ham, ending his career with 422 goals in 602 games at club level and 44 goals in 57 games for England. Greaves is Tottenham's and the English top flight's all-time leading goalscorer. If it weren't for injury, it could have been Greaves and not Geoff Hurst, who was England's hero at the 1966 World Cup, and then he might have been even higher in this 7. Gordon Banks. Once more, there have been a string of wonderful British goalkeepers, from Peter Shilton to Pat Jennings and Neville Southall. They all trail in the quest to be crowned the greatest of all time, behind Gordon Banks though. The former Leicester City and Stoke City shotstopper is widely regarded as one of the greatest goalkeepers to have ever lived. A World Cup winner in 1966, Banks had wonderful reflexes and was named as FIFA Goalkeeper of the Year on 6 separate occasions. Bobby Moore. We're in danger of getting a little England in 66 centric here, but Bobby Moore is well worth his place in this top 7. Neil Franklin is the only British centre-half who could rival Moore in terms of ability, but he can't compete with him when it comes to longevity and achievements. England's captain when they were crowned world champions, Moore played his club football with West Ham and Fulham, winning an FA Cup with the former. A classical centre-half with a majestic reading of the game, Moore was named in FIFA's World Team of the 20th century. George Best. The first non-Englishman in this 7, and it can be difficult to accurately place George Best. Arguably the most naturally gifted British footballer in history, he too lacked longevity, and that possibly hurts him here. He's still being ranked as the 4th greatest British footballer of all time though, and there's no shame in that. A cultural icon, Best had won the First Division, the European Cup and the Ballon d'Or all by the time he was 22. His feints and body swerves gave defenders nightmares, and Best was among the finest dribblers the game has ever known. His career at the highest level effectively ended at 27, but he still deserves a place in this 7. Stanley Matthews. The England team of the late 1940s was almost certainly a more gifted group than the England team which won a World Cup in 1966, and the likes of Tom Finney, Wilf Mannion, Rach Carter, Tommy Lawton and Neil Franklin could all consider themselves unfortunate not to place in this 7. The one member of that group that does though is Sir Stanley Matthews. The only footballer to have been knighted while still active, Matthews was a sensational outside right who was a master of wing play without peer in Britain or abroad. When it comes to dropping the shoulder, beating your fullback and putting balls on a plate to your centre forward, they don't come any finer than Stan. A Stoke City and Blackpool legend, Matthews played top flight football until the age of 50. John Charles. It's splitting hairs when it comes to picking between the top few in this 7, and John Charles could easily have taken top spot. Undoubtedly the greatest Welsh footballer of all time, the Italians nicknamed Charles the Gentle Giant. His imposing frame may have suggested that he would be something of a brute on a football pitch, but he was anything but. A fine technician with an exquisite footballing brain, he was the most complete player Britain has ever produced. Charles played his best football for Leeds United and Juventus, and he was equally capable of playing as a centre-half or as a centre-forward. Bobby Charlton. Just pipping the likes of Charles and Matthews to top spot is the 4th and final member of England's 1966 World Cup squad to make this 7. Bobby Charlton is a titan of the game. A survivor of the Munich air disaster, Charlton was the key man at Manchester United as they looked to rebuild. They did so successfully, with their rise culminating in victory at the 1968 European Cup, when they were captained by Sir Bobby. A Ballon d'Or winner in 1966, Charlton was known for his incredible stamina, his range of passing, and his thunderous long-range strikes with either foot. A genuine legend of the game, we're happy to name Sir Bobby Charlton as the greatest British footballer of all time. So that's it for our top 7. We want to know in the comments if you think any current players could make this list in a decade or so's time. Harry Kane? Gareth Bale? Scott Brown? Let us know below. Thanks for watching. There are too many honourable mentions to even attempt listing them all, but give us a like if you enjoyed the video. You can follow the link to our worldwide all-time top 7 which is on screen now, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC Sevens.